Happy Monday, knitters. I'm Louise from Wildflower Wool, and welcome back to my channel. This is another brand new episode of New Start Monday Knits. I am here every Monday showing you 2 new projects that I'm going to cast on and work on for this upcoming week. I've got 2 fantastic projects that I'm going to show you towards the end of this video. The first one is a dishcloth. It is a 2-colored texture stitch that I am in love with. And the second is some new yarn that I bought on the weekend that I have cast on. If you saw my Instagram and Facebook post today at noon, you'll have seen the yarn and maybe have guessed what I'm going to cast on with it. So I'll show you that in a few minutes. But first, let me show you my finished dishcloth from last week. This is my mitered square. Good, I've got the right side facing. Can tell it's the right side because you can see there's a textured ridge all along the center where I did that double decrease. On the back, there's no bump, it's flat. The right side has got that texture, which is really quite pretty. So I started out here, I believe it's 65 stitches. So this tip all the way down this edge to the point and up was my cast on edge. And I kept working back and forth, a 2-row pattern. 1 row did the double decrease in the center. The second row was just a plain knit. It made a basic garter stitch fabric with this lovely center decrease line down the center. I really like this, you guys. I'm going to be making more of these. So this is it. I am actually ahead in my dishcloth challenge. My 1 a week challenge, I think I am 1, 2, maybe just 1 dishcloth ahead, which is very, very exciting. So that's going to go in my finished box. This ball of dishy is not quite finished. I have a teeny tiny little bit, so it will probably go into a scrappy dishcloth just to use up that little bit of yarn. Let me show you a few more things that I worked on this weekend. First, let's go back to my European road trip shawl. I am really loving this pattern, you guys. It is really easy. I think that is why I had somebody send me a question and ask, what is the fascination with this European road trip shawl? And I think it is just that it is easy. It is a relatively as simple as you can possibly get knit. The only thing you have to pay attention to is the first stitch on either edge is slipped. If you don't slip it, you'll get a little blip in the edge, but the edge itself curls, so even that's not a huge problem because you're really not going to see that one single edge stitch because it's covered in. So this is a fantastic project for when you're visiting, watching TV, traveling, anywhere. You just want to pick it up and knit a little bit. So I moved my stitch marker after last Monday's podcast. There we go. I moved it up. So this is where I started after last Monday's video. And I mean, I didn't get a whole lot done, but I got a little bit. Just worked a few rows every time I sat down, watched something on Netflix. I did a few rows on here. So slow and steady, that's my motto with this guy. My ball, I'm starting to get that squishy feeling. Look at that. You can see the center is starting to disappear and the center is gone. So even though it doesn't look like I got a huge amount done row-wise, I did get a fair little amount of yarn actually knit into this week. So I'm happy with this. So I'm just going to keep plugging away on it this week. What else did I do? Oh, I worked quite a bit on my mitt. Now, last week's video, I'm not sure. I think I had it started. I'm pretty sure I must have had it cast on, but maybe not too much done on it. And I just kept working away, picked it up. I did the thumb gusset. I'll just turn it like this. I did the thumb gusset increases. This is the super simple mitten pattern, which just like the pattern name says, it is super simple. It's a great first mitten pattern because there's nothing fancy about it. It is just all the basic components of a mitten done in a really simple, easy way. So I've got this much more to go before I decrease. Now, Anne messaged me. She purchased this pattern and she's knitting a mitten along with me, pretty much. It's like we have our own little knit along going on. And she sent me a message on Instagram because she just had a question, I think mostly with the wording of the pattern, and wanted to know, once she got past the thumb gusset increases, you put these stitches on a holder, you cast on your stitches to get back in the round, and she said, how far do I knit? And the pattern says you knit up until your work from your cast on edge. So basically what I really want you to do is just put it on, and your work, you want to knit it till it gets to the top of your baby finger. And that is roughly the distance you need left, a couple of inches to do your decreasing. Easy as that. So I answered her question. She's on her way, and hopefully we'll see a finished mitten picture pretty soon. My mitts will be done. You'll see those. Oh my goodness, can you guys believe it? It is March 2nd. It is March now. January and February have seemed to go on like it's lightning speed, and we're now into March. End of March, you'll see this on the Finished Friday video, because this will be done, should be done by the end of this week. And then I'll just tuck it away until the end of March, and I'll pull it out and show you on the finished video. Hitchhiker. Again, this pattern I love because it is so quick and easy just to pick up. And I've worked a few points. I think on last week's video, what I had done, 2 points, I think. So I moved my marker up. This was the last point that I had done. I moved my marker up there, and this week I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And it is now, what I'm thinking is really starting to look like a shawl, something that's going to be wearable. It's getting some length. It's getting some width here. Look at that. I can just fit it in the camera screen. My striping is still, because you never know with these hand-dyed yarns how they're going to stripe or pool or do, you know, how that color is going to knit up. But I'm really liking how it's going so far. And I have tons of yarn left, because remember I was kind of wondering if I would have enough. It's not really starting to feel squishy yet inside. I still feel like I have almost a full ball left. So I'm still not going to panic yet about running short of yarn here, because I think I'm going to be fine, and it's going to have to be fine because I only have 1 ball of this hand-dyed yarn. So it is just going to have to be what it is, but I'm thinking so far I'm still going to be happy with the length of it. I know the rows are going to start getting longer. It's going to start eating up a little bit more yarn. My fingers crossed. I'm still thinking I'm going to be okay on this. What did I have one more. Oops, I got to reach for this one. I didn't move it close. Oh, look at this bag. We had a viewer make up these bags for us, the Fibre Friends podcast bags. So I thought, I need to start using this, because I think I've only ever used it once before, and then it got tucked away in a corner, and I found it while I was putting my yarn stash on Ravelry. I was digging through some bags, and I found this bag tucked in a bag. And I thought this will be perfect, because it is one of these like on-the-go bags, so you can put it, look at the back side, Wildflower Wool. How pretty. I love this bag. I can't believe that it got tucked away. But so you can put it on your arm, and it fits 1 cake of yarn perfectly in here. And you can just knit and walk, if that's what you want to do. I am working on, this was my new start from last week. There, got untangled out of the bag. There is the cake. This was this yarn from Suzanne's shop. Knit Stitch in Stratford is the shop, and her dye is Yarnbird Studios. I'm still in love with this color, and I was knitting this up into the 7-gram shawl. It's a herringbone pattern, which I love, 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 love herringbone. And here it is. Look at this. Look at the texture of this. Can you not see why I love herringbone? Is that not fantastic? This pattern has got a little I-cord edging along this edge. Now this pattern is not reversible, but I don't mind the back side at all. So there it is. It's not very long because I did have to pull this out 2 or 3, well, 3, probably at least 3 times, because this herringbone pattern is repetitive. Once you get going on it, okay, I'm sorry if you can hear this, but Daisy has found one of her catnip toys and she is going crazy with it on the floor here beside me. Anyways, so this pattern, once you get going, it is only a 4-row repeat and it does get easy to memorize. I kept getting stuck because I was getting my slip stitches and my yarn overs out of sync, which kind of mucked up my pattern a little bit. So it did take me a little bit of time. It took me at least 3, 4 starts. This might be the 4th start to get this going and on track. But now that I've done it, and I guess you just look at that as practice. I could count this as my gauge swatch just to see if I like the feel and look of the fabric I'm getting with this needle. I think it's a 4mm needle. And if you have to rip it out a few times and change your needle size, you get practice, you get the stitch pattern row, you know, down count, down pat, that's what I want to say. It's not a waste of time, right? Because even though I did have to restart it a few times, you know, it's all knitting. And now I've got the pattern stuck up here. So now I am good to just carry on. So I'm just going to keep, you know, picking up and alternating between doing 4, 8 rows, 12 rows of the herringbone. And then I'm going to go and do a point or 2 on hitchhiker and just kind of rotate through those all this week and see how much I can get done. All right. You want to see my new starts for this week? I am really, really, really excited about these. I've got a bag back here that has got them. So I don't know which one I'm more excited about or which one I want to show you first. So we'll just go, I guess, with what is in the top of the bag. Okay, so I was teaching at Little Red Mitten this past weekend, and they happened to have had a trunk show going on Saturday. And it was my friend, Vicki, from Songbird Yarn and Fibres. There is the ball band of what I bought. I saw this flamingo yarn and I instantly grabbed it and held on to it for dear life because there were so many people looking around at yarns and looking at Vicki's beautiful, beautiful yarn that there was no way I was going to I wasn't going to set this down for a second and let somebody snatch it up. So as you can tell, there, I'll let you see the ball band here. Songbird Yarn. I always want to yarn, yeah, Songbird Yarn and Fibres. Songbird Yarn and Fibres. Yes, I did say that right. All of her yarn is dyed. I've just lost the word. It's inspired. That's what I wanted to say. Inspired by birds, all different birds. And her yarn is beautiful and fantastic. I have, I think, 2 skeins. I know I have her puffin colorway and maybe one of the hummingbird colorways, but I have not used them yet. They are in my stash. But this one, I was not going to just put in my stash and find it forever from now. I caked this up. So like I said before, if you want to see a picture of what it looked like in the skein, you can take a look over on my Facebook and Instagram pages because I posted a picture today of what it looked like before I wound it up. This is what it looks like wound up. It is a corally pinky, more corally orangey color with black. Look at this color, you guys. Flamingo. I am in love with this. I am going to have socks, flamingo socks. I think everybody needs to have flamingo socks. And when I actually get around to finding the other 2 skeins that I have, I will have puffin socks as well. Look at this. So I've cast on, I've started, I'm using little, I think these are 5-inch sock needles. I'm not sure what the brand is of these, and they're not super pointy, which I usually like something that's a little pointier than this. This is a little duller than I usually use, but you know what, it's working out quite well. I'm using my super simple sock pattern. I've cast on 64 stitches, and I'm gonna knit a pair of socks for myself. And look at how this is. It's striping, you know, it's striping. It's not self-striping yarn, but it has a bit of a stripe to it. I'm like loving this. So look at this. What do I have here for a tail? Okay, let me go this way. So look at like this dark orange stripe, and then the black is striping. On this side, it's like we've got two little micro stripes. Is that what the term for that is? The skinny stripes. I'm loving this. I had to actually like force myself to put this down so I could start my dishcloth, which then I equally fell in love with. So this is going to be hard to know what I'm going to be knitting on this week, because I am really loving everything that I'm working on right now. So the reason, the reason I bought this was because it was flamingos, obviously, and it's orange. So like, really, how can I not have this? But my super simple sock down pattern, I just gave it a little update. And if you've already purchased it, if you haven't already seen, you'll have a message in your Ravelry inbox that I updated the pattern. The pattern was originally written with 2 sizes. I've included a 3rd size for 64 stitches because a couple people had mentioned that they wanted something a little bit smaller. So I gave you a smaller size. So I was thinking, well, since I have updated the pattern part, I think my picture on the front of the pattern needs to be updated too. So I'm thinking that this might be a perfect way to show off my super simple pattern. And I have another yarn from another local dyer that I may also knit up, and I may show that on the front of my pattern as well. Anyways, that is my first new start for this week, guys, and I am loving it. I may be staying up way too late tonight getting a few more rounds on this. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see my daily progress on this. Otherwise, come back again next week here on this video and I'll show you how far I've gotten. No promises though, because my knitting time is getting taken up by all these projects. So hopefully European road trip shawl, my herringbone 7-gram shawl, I've got a mitten to finish, I've got hitchhiker to finish, I've got a couple more projects on the go that I haven't shown you yet. I have a sweater that is like this close to being finished that has to get done in the next couple of days, or I will never hear the end of it if I don't finish this sweater. And for those of you who are joining me on Friday nights for our live knit night over on the Fibre Friends Friday Night Knit In, you will know that the sweater I'm talking about is my Lopi sweater, which is long overdue for being finished. So hopefully you'll see that being done very, very soon as well. Dishcloth, pattern number 2. All right, everybody, are you ready for this? I was looking, because I know everybody's been leaving me some comments of, what is it, the almost forgotten dishcloth, the 1 hour, oh, Susanna had left me a comment saying, what was it, the 1 hour, oh, soap mug, something, coaster, something. Anyways, and I thought that really intrigued me because I wanted to see if I could really knit it in an hour. And then I got a little sidetracked as normal. So I think what I'm going to do is every suggestion you knitters have given me, I'm going to slot them in for maybe every other week, come up with my own pattern, and then knit one of your suggestions, knit one of mine, and do one of your suggestions, and I'll just kind of work my way through, and then I'll test knit them for you, I'll show them to you, and then you can decide if you want to knit them yourself too. This one, I decided I wanted to do a textured stitch pattern this week. So I pulled out a couple of part balls of yarn. I've got some pink Handicrafter And the last little bit of this yellow, I love this cotton. So I'm not sure if this yellow, I may run out of this yellow, which would not be a bad thing because I want to finish up this ball. So we'll see. We'll see how far I get. I may have to do, this may turn into a little scrappy dishcloth. I may keep going with some pink and throw in a little bit of white or orange or something. We'll see. But are you guys ready to see this? This was, the stitch pattern was called, I think it was called the knit tweed pattern, stitch pattern. Look at this. I love this. But really, you know what? Now this is 2 sets of pattern repeats done. Cast on in the main color. I did 2 rows of knit stitch, and then I've done 8 rows. It's 4 rows for the pattern, and I've repeated that 4 rows twice. So I've got 8 rows of the pattern done. And look at that. And you know what it really is? It is a 2-color bee stitch. So you're working a row of pattern, like a knit one below, work your way across, then you knit a row. Then you switch your colors, you offset the bee stitch, like the below pattern, and again, you work knit one below, knit one, knit one below, knit one, and then you knit a row. And you just keep alternating your colors. And this is what it turns out like. And I think I love this. So what I will do is I will write this pattern out and I will put it in the description box below. And I think I will also write this out and put it on Ravelry as a free dishcloth pattern for people to download, because I think everybody should be knitting this. Because you guys all know that when I fall in love with something and I love it, then I think everybody else needs to do it too. So I'm going to write this up for you guys so that you can have this. And if you want to try, or if you're working on the Yarn Hoarders Dishcloth Challenge as well, you could maybe do one of these dishcloths along with me if you've got a couple balls of fun colors that you want to put together. You put them together and you can share it. So any new starts that you knitters are working on, if you're starting something tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, the next couple of days, post on Instagram using the hashtag New Start Monday Knits, and then I can look up and I can like and comment on your progress. And you can follow me, again, Facebook and Instagram. You can see my daily updates of what I'm working on, how much I've got done, which projects I've picked to work on. And we can cheer each other on and we can get some finishes done this month. So that is it for me. That is what I'm working on. I'm not sure what I'm going to work on right now, dishcloth or sock. I'm going to have to divide my time up here and then squeeze some other projects in here. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell so you know when these videos actually are posted up on YouTube, and you'll be the first to see them. And share it if you have any other knitting friends that might want to knit along with us and follow along with what we're doing. Share it to them so they can join in the fun too. Thanks so much, everybody, and I will see you on Instagram and Facebook, and I'd love to chat with you down below in the comments, and I will be right back here again next Monday with 2 new projects. Happy knitting!